So, let's just jump right in with a massive question in the AI world today. Can an AI actually write a research paper? And I'm not talking about a simple blog post or an email. I mean a full-on, complex, ready-to-be-published scientific paper.
If you've ever been in a lab or done research, you know this feeling all too well. You've got pages of messy notes, ideas scribbled on napkins, folders just packed with raw data and experiment logs. It's organized chaos, right?
Now, what if you could take all of that, the entire jumble, and feed it into a machine that gives you back a polished, professional, totally submission-ready paper? That's kind of the dream a team at Google has been chasing.
But let's be real. This is not an easy thing to pull off. In fact, you could argue it's one of the hardest writing tasks you could ever give an AI, and there's a good reason why.
You see, a research paper isn't just a summary of stuff that happened. No way. It's a deep, logical argument. It demands you pull from years of other people's work, present your own data in a clear way, make insightful charts, and then wrap it all up in a story that convinces other experts in your field. It's a huge lift.
And this is exactly where the AI we have today just falls flat. On one side, you have your general-purpose AI writers. They're okay, but they often produce shallow summaries, and even worse, they can just make things up. They hallucinate. Then on the other side, you have these giant all-in-one research models, but they're completely locked into their own little worlds. They can't use your unique notes, your data. So there's this big empty space right in the middle.
Well, to fill that gap, the Google researchers built a new framework. And you gotta love the name, Paper Orchestra. The whole idea is that it acts like a conductor, pointing to different specialist AIs and bringing them all together to create one beautiful, complex piece of music, which in this case is a research paper.
So the mission here was to build a single expert writing tool that could take all those messy, real-world notes from a researcher and turn them into a finished paper. So how does this whole orchestra thing actually work? Well, it's not one single AI trying to be a jack of all trades. Nope, it's what's called a multi-agent framework. Think of it like a band full of specialists, a drummer, a guitarist, a bassist, and each one has a very specific job to do.
This diagram really lays out the whole process perfectly. You start over on the left with all your raw ingredients, your idea, your logs, and the system passes them through this assembly line of specialized agents until a complete paper pops out on the right.
Let's break down the players. First up, you've got the outline agent. It's like the composer laying out the whole structure of the song. At the same time, the plotting agent is busy making all the charts, and the literature review agent is digging through past research to find what's relevant. Then the section writing agent takes all those pieces and puts together a first draft. But the real key is that last step. The content refinement agent comes in, like a conductor, to polish the whole thing to perfection.
And honestly, this is where the real magic happens. It's not enough to just spit out a draft. The system actually loops back on itself. One AI agent essentially becomes a peer reviewer for the other agents, critiquing the draft, looking for holes in the logic, and finding spots that just aren't clear enough.
The effect of this self-review process is just staggering. This final polishing step improves the paper's quality so much that its simulated acceptance rate, which is basically a score that predicts if it'd get accepted at a top conference, shoots up by as much as 22 percentage points. That is often the difference between getting published and getting rejected.
Okay, so the whole idea sounds amazing on paper. But you know, the proof is in the pudding. Does it actually work when you put it up against the competition? The researchers decided to find out.
This is really the moment of truth, right? Can this fancy multi-agent orchestra actually outperform other top AIs that are trying to do the same thing?
And the answer was a huge, unambiguous yes. I mean, in these automated head-to-head battles, it wasn't even close. These massive blue bars show Paper Orchestra's win rate, and you can see it just crushes the other systems on both the quality of the literature review and the quality of the paper overall.
All right, so beating another computer is one thing, but what about the real test? What about human perception? Can actual living, breathing AI researchers, the people who review these papers for a living, can they actually tell the difference? Is the quality really that much better?
Turns out, yes. 1,000% yes. When they gave human experts the papers to compare, without telling them which AI wrote which, the experts overwhelmingly preferred the ones written by Paper Orchestra. This shows that the quality boost isn't just some number on a chart. It's a real, noticeable difference that experts can see and feel.
And here's the absolute killer stat. When judging just the literature review, which is one of the hardest parts to get right, human experts chose Paper Orchestra over a major competitor by a margin of up to 68%. That is not just a win, that is an absolute landslide.
So, okay, the system is a massive success. It works, but what does this actually mean for the future of science, for how we make discoveries?
The creators themselves are really clear on this point. They don't see this as a machine that's going to replace human scientists. Not at all. As they put it, it's an advanced assistive tool. It's built to speed up the really grueling parts of writing, so researchers can spend more of their brainpower on what really matters, coming up with the big ideas and making the discoveries in the first place.
And that really leaves us with one last, pretty exciting question to think about. For all of human history, the speed of scientific progress has been tied to how fast we can share our findings. So if a tool like this can put that process into hyperdrive, what incredible breakthroughs are waiting just around the corner? What amazing discoveries are we all going to be reading about next?